Yeah. Nice.
Okay, all right, here we go. You're listening to Runner's Block, a Two Gomers podcast about regular people chasing big goals by confronting one barrier at a time. This is the Atlanta Half Marathon Race Weekend in Review Part 2 for March 2022, one day after the race.
Part 2 of the race and review of the Atlanta Marathon and Half Marathon. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, sitting across the table, drinking some coffee with my friend Steven right here, also in Atlanta, Georgia.
So if you were a 13.1 patron, we're taping this, not on Zoom, but you can see us both in the shot. You can see all this stuff. We've got coffees.
Yep.
Waters.
Top you off there.
A Blackwing pencil. Thank you. That's not one of us peeing. Even though we will talk about that a lot in this episode.
For sure. I mean, marathon's all about the bod, right? And one of the bodily functions is...
we left you on a cliffhanger in the last episode around that. So race morning. Atlanta Half Marathon weekend. You got a sweet. Oh, we forgot to say you got a sweet sweatshirt too.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. There it is, right there on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some swag at the expo,
which we've never done before.
Nope. But the swag was good. It was Adidas, high quality.
Yeah. I really wanted something.
Yeah. Yep.
With maybe it's just because when I go to Phoenix, I'm like, I don't need something else that says Phoenix.
Right. Which would be cool for me. Right.
That's right. And so when we do a Phoenix one together again, we have to make sure we get swag because we were also living a different life podcast wise before this race.
Right.
When it came to funds available to us. I mean, the Patreon is amazing.
Totally.
Because we could say, oh, Annie, I'll buy you something because you've really served the podcast.
Yeah.
And both of us can say, okay, we can spend a little bit of the Patreon money on a shirt.
Yeah. Or a rain jacket. What we got was, we got those Atlanta Marathon, super lightweight running rain jackets.
Yep.
Which are super cool. We bought one for Annie. Thank you, Patreon. Thank you, Annie.
Yep.
And then I was like, you know what? I really like the hoodie that it's the Atlanta Marathon 2022.
Yeah.
Not marathon, meaning I did the marathon. It's like marathon weekend, I think, right?
Atlanta Marathon weekend.
Yeah.
And it on the O, there was what I thought was a 4-leaf clover. And so I was like, they're a little early for St. Patrick's.
It does look Irish.
But what is it? It's some sort of bloom. It's some sort of Atlanta flower.
I thought the flower was the dogwood.
That could be a dogwood bloom.
Yeah, but they're not green. So I don't know if they just kind of went with that green theme.
That's what I think. So that was what made it confusing to me because it's a very St. Patrick's Day looking shirt. So I wasn't necessarily interested in that, but we did both get those water resistant jackets.
Yep.
Which is one of the nicest things I own now.
Totally. I know. That was the thing is the swag was super high quality with printing on it.
Right.
Which is unique to that day.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's tempting. Yeah. It's always tempting, which is why you almost bought that lady's jacket.
So after the flights and the race registration and the lifts and things like that. Thank you to those Gomertrons or maybe they're not even Gomertrons. I don't know. Listeners that sent us a little bit of cash for food too, just as a little gift and encouragement.
So nice.
Which we were not afraid to ask for. Right beforehand, we like that cold hard cash encouragement. This has kind of been a nice, relaxing. We don't have to worry about every penny we're spending.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's been really awesome and obviously a blessing that we have as podcasters. But thank you, patrons, I should say. Thank you, Gomertrons, for making this weekend really fun for us.
Yeah.
So We get there on Sunday morning.
Yep.
It's rainy and cold.
Mm.
We're wearing the right things.
Yep.
We go to the bathroom.
Yep.
Success.
Right. Gomer's tip from last episode, from seasons past.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to a big race, like a half marathon or a marathon, maybe not a 5K or a 10K, maybe a 10K. 10K is like an hour.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So any race. Okay, any race. Go straight to the portalette line and then go straight to get back in the line after you've gone.
Because there's probably more left in there.
Yeah. It's what they call break the seal, right?
Is that what they call that?
I thought that like
so the first time through is breaking the seal, you're saying?
Yes. That it
Right.
because you can hold the seal for hours and hours and hours, but once you break the seal, it's like you got to whiz like every 5 minutes.
And my issue is that no matter how I try, I'm nervously drinking water in the morning.
Right. And we carried water bottles in the lift because you want to hydrate, and we hydrated the day before.
Yep.
Classic Gomer's tip, which actually really works.
Is great. It's way better to be hydrating the whole weekend before the race, which we did a great job of that. But I just need to always remember I'm gonna have a lot of water in there.
Yeah.
And I need to get it out because we walked over to our wave.
Yep. A, B, C, D, E.
They put E. They put people into E that knew they were going to be slow or just forgot to put their pace in.
Right.
We're the latter.
Yep. Right. Well, actually, we're both. We're both.
Right. The bifecta. Slow and forgetful. Even though they continue to send us emails like, urgent, make sure you
action required.
Action required. Maybe Anthony did.
Right.
So we were in E, but boy, that was really far back.
It was far back. Totally.
So we ended up going into D.
Yep. D's nuts.
E's nuts. D's. So we got in there toward the back.
Yep.
Couldn't even see the starting line.
Yeah. You can hear it. Like, you can hear sounds. And there's so much music. I mean, this is the fun about a race.
Right.
Like, I was thinking about, like, you know how, like, at a wedding, like, everybody has come from all over the place to gather to this one thing, but it's all about one couple. Yeah. You know, or about that family, right? Mm-hmm. A marathon and a half marathon is like same thing. Everybody has gotten together, but everybody is doing the same thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's also the difference between a regular sporting event and a race where there's 16, 20, 50,000 people that come to a regular sporting event, right? A football game or a baseball game. This one is a sporting event that everybody is a part of.
Everybody is.
That should be the
where the
is. So that you really feel that. And also we're right in the middle of downtown Atlanta, Centennial Olympic Park, right? Is that what that park is called? So there's Olympic imagery everywhere.
Yeah.
Buildings rising up into like a low cloud. And so you can't see the tops of some of the buildings at this point, which is cool to look at, but not cool to feel because that rain is coming down. Right. Well, but you liked it.
Well, yeah, I love it.
At this point, the rain was actually kind of nice. Still,
at this point, it was more misty.
It was spitting a little bit.
Yeah, because actually, if you look at our pictures from the start of the race,
good call. You're right.
Like our hair is dry.
Yes.
Pretty much.
You're right. It is.
Our clothes are dry. We've got that rain jacket.
There were some moments where it was raining a little bit harder, but not hard.
Right.
Right. And so I was actually feeling really encouraged by that. Okay. So you hear the horn. From friggin' far away.
And this is where if you watch the race on like if they're like they have videos of like music pumping and then they're like the Atlanta half marathon. And they show the gun go off and then you just see these dudes.
That's wave A. That is not wave E or D.
They look so incredible. Like the camera can barely hold them in because they're just they look like long and lean.
And they're actually like in a crouching start position. You know what I mean? And the guys in D and E are just like, was that the horn? Well, I guess we'll know 15 minutes from now. So then we start moving slowly up.
Yep.
And that's when you started saying, listen, I have to pee really bad.
Yeah, I was like, it was that thing of where like it's starting to like creep up.
Yeah.
Like you can feel the beginnings of a whiz, and it's like few minutes from now, it's gonna really not
Right.
be good.
You're kind of clocking that feeling, right? You're noticing, and you know thyself
Know thyself. Yep. I mean, you've done potty training when you were 2.
that in
Right.
5 minutes or so, this is going to feel a lot worse.
Yep.
In 10 and 15 minutes, it's going to feel a lot worse.
Yep.
And if I'm jostling and bouncing,
Yeah, there's
and flapping and bapping,
Yeah.
that doesn't help with the fact that I have to pee.
And you've got
So-
the fight or flight too.
So we started looking for like an exit
right. And
because you're
yeah.
gated, you're like fenced in, I should say.
Yeah. Literally in a corral. Right,
Metal
like-
fencing that's temporary, but you can't go through it and you can't climb over it
Nope.
because it's a little bit, it's kind of too high.
Yeah, we saw one guy do it, and I was like, I felt really bad because he made it over, but it was like one foul slip, and
Which, if we had tried, that would have been our
guaranteed,
slip.
guaranteed. Like at least if you had done it for sure, it would have been.
There were there were kind of gaps, like not gaps, I should say, but places where they weren't attached to each other.
Right.
Where I was trying to like spread them,
Yeah.
but they weren't spreading wide enough
No.
for us to get through.
Right.
We could see some porta potties like
Yeah.
about 20 feet away at one point.
But they were behind another of those.
It was like 2 fences between us.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so we were like, we can't do that. We were at the starting line at that point.
Mhm.
That's what all of our conversation was. Getting up to this. Nothing inspiring at all. Like, we're doing this. This is great.
This is
it was
it.
all like, we've made a terrible mistake.
I got because it started with me. I got a whiz, and then like if it's symbiotic, if it's E.T. Elliott, if it's
yeah, I'm not sure.
something, but then you were like, oh wait, me too, right?
That was after we started running.
Yeah. Yep.
So we did cross the starting line, synchronize your watches, synchronize your swatches.
How much was that starting like those dudes and ladies?
I mean,
Like-
I can't think of 2 different groups of people.
We
2
don't even
more
know
different
where
Yeah.
it started. Actually, like we
We're
were like,
was
are
that
we?
it?
Have we started?
the hype people are already like winding down.
They're like coiling microphone cords.
They've said everything they need to say into the microphone. The music is like ballads instead of hype music at that point. So we cross it. We don't even know if we did. Okay, I guess I should start my watch.
Yeah.
And I was able to ask a person,
Yeah.
a volunteer on the way out, are there bathrooms?
Yeah. Portalettes.
I don't remember what word I used. I think I said bathrooms
Oh, really? Okay.
to her. And she said, yep, there's a bathroom within the first 2 miles.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was like, okay, you can do anything for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
My mantra.
Yep.
And it was honest. It was just too late at that point to do anything about it. We had to go. We had to start running.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the only other option would be to just go backwards.
I suppose we
You
could
know.
have crossed the start line and then
Made our
curled
way back.
around.
Yeah, but no,
No.
we're in it.
So here's how I feel about it.
Mhm.
Oh, and we did have that Gomer's tip. We're gonna release some live stuff to
Oh, yeah.
to our 13.1ers
Yep. We recorded to it straight to phone during the race, before, during,
before,
after.
during, and after. Yep. So we will make that available. Maybe it's 6.2ers and up. How about that?
Mhm, cool.
We'll make that available to folks, and we'll do a little bit more recording for our 13.1ers in the car.
Yep.
On the way to the airport or
Yeah.
something.
Sounds great.
So the tip is have to go to the bathroom super bad for the first 2 miles
Okay.
so that it's absolute torture.
Yes. Okay. I forgot about that. I wasn't sure where you were going. I thought you were going back to the go again.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because
It was a brand new tip we thought of.
Yep, totally. Actually it worked great. So the first 2 miles didn't even know we were running because every parking garage, it's like, is there like a corner?
I
you could
wasn't
duck
thinking
in? Is
about
there
my
a dumpster
legs.
you
I
could-
wasn't
nope,
thinking about. I wasn't nervous at
Nope.
all about the run itself.
Nope, nothing.
I was just in bladder pain
Yeah,
for 25 minutes. And sometimes, when you have to go to the bathroom, you can like position and you're not running. You can like
Right.
position yourself or loosen your pants or your belt or like sit differently to ease.
Sure.
There's nothing worse than running around
Yes.
when you feel like that.
Uh-huh.
And so you're right. Every storefront, and this is 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
Right.
So none of these places are open.
Everything's closed totally. Jimmy John's,
Right.
you're not going into Subway.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
But you're also downtown in the city, so there's no place to duck behind.
Right. And there's probably cameras everywhere. You're worried about like, public nudity. Right? Like,
Indecent exposure.
yeah.
Public urination you can get a ticket for.
Sure.
So there's also police everywhere because
right.
They're blocking off the roads. And so you can't.
And there's also thousands of people running.
The only option is you pee your pants,
Mm-hmm.
which it was wet out.
Yeah, we did actually talk about that. It's raining and we're just slowly getting wetter and wetter. Also, we should have had a trigger warning. If anybody has like anxiety about this stuff.
About peeing, just don't listen to the next 30 minutes of the podcast while we continue to process this. So at one point we did see a gas station and a Dunkin'.
Dunkin' Donuts.
America
Dunkin'
runs on
Donuts
Dunkin'.
racks. Yep. That was Dunkin' Donuts was like a beacon of hope.
Right.
And okay,
An
at
oasis
this
in a
point,
desert.
at
Yeah.
this point, there's other people around us that are feeling similar because they're listening to the Gomers talking about this.
We can hear them talking about it.
Yeah,
Then
other people are
we
talking
all
about it.
duck into this.
We have a crew.
It was some running.
Racetrack.
Racetrack.
Yep, the gas. So it was a Dunkin' and a racetrack. Yep.
So that really felt like a sign.
Yep.
This is it.
Yeah, from above.
We are going to have relief. This was around 1 mile, probably.
Yeah.
Locked and closed.
Yep.
Out of order.
Yeah, it said out of order, no public restrooms.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody looked interested in helping us
No.
get into these
No.
restrooms.
Not at all.
So at that point, we
No
met
mercy.
We met two people in particular,
Yeah.
a girl and a guy,
Yeah.
who were just like in our situation.
Oh yeah.
Just like, are we gonna, the girl in particular was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it anywhere else.
She was like, this is going to get gross, right?
Yeah. And at one point we saw them kind of like running off into a park.
Yeah, they went into like a parking
grove of trees.
Yep. Right. Yeah,
Where I
that's
was
right.
like, but I had yelled to another volunteer, where are the bathrooms? Like, we need to go.
Because we're coming up on mile 2 now.
Right. And so she said it's right up by the fueling stations at mile 2, right over this crest of this hill.
Yep.
So I yelled that out to our new friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's right over there.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yes. And that's when she said good because it was about to get indignant up in here.
Right. Yep.
Is that no? That's not
Indignified.
Sorry.
Undignified.
Undignified. Sorry. Indignant. Oh.
Yeah, well, that too. So I was really impressed. 10
Yeah.
potties.
Yep. At 2.1.
Yep. So
And tons of people in line for it.
we were not the only people in that
No.
situation.
There were at least 30 people that I saw,
Yeah.
like between the two lines.
Right.
Yeah.
So the line was pretty quick.
Mhm.
I was praying for 2.
Yeah.
The worst situation is
Yeah.
1.
Yes.
I was reading this one thing about like 2 registers open versus 1 register open in a store.
Yeah.
Does not opening up 2 registers doesn't have the time
Mm.
that you're gonna wait in line. It puts it down by 90%,
Wow.
because that means 1 is open for fast people just in case there's a slow person in that first one.
Yeah.
So that's
So-
the same thing with the porta potty. If
Sure.
you get somebody in there who's got business to do,
Yeah. If you've got a number 2 person in front of 30 people.
right.
Yes.
If you've at least got that second one open,
Yep.
then the fast people can go into that.
Yeah. Express lane.
Yep. But this was 10, and so we got in and out.
Yep. Totally great.
Waved goodbye.
It did take about 2 to 3 minutes total, though.
I think it was 3.5.
Okay. Take that from our time. Mark that from our time.
Most of that was standing in line.
Oh,
So
totally.
once you're in there, you're doing what you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're the lady next to me who was
Oh,
hardcore throwing up.
yeah. There was retching. I felt super bad.
So what's your guess
Yeah.
on what was happening there? My guess was she wasn't feeling well anyway.
Yeah,
And then she went
yeah.
into that porta potty and it reeked and she just couldn't
Yeah.
hold it in.
Yeah, I felt so bad. And then
Me
there
too.
was a couple, not the couple that we were talking about, but another couple, and the woman came out, and the guy thought it was her. And he was like, oh, because then they were still listening to the retching with us.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, oh, good, honey. I
It
thought
wasn't
that was you.
Oh man, that must have been very relieving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Poor
okay.
lady.
So we said goodbye to our new P friends.
Yep. But we saw them throughout the day.
We did. That's the thing about this race. It's like standing in line for a new iPhone.
Yep.
You get to know everybody around you.
It's the road trip. It's you
Right.
pass by the Egg McMuffin truck.
So for me, I don't know about for you, that is when it felt like the race started.
Yeah, totally. That's
Because
And-
I was in that urine haze up until then.
totally. And it was so relieving. So that was the second
the
part
tip.
of that Gomer's tip.
Right.
Is you don't think about the first 2 miles, and then for a few miles now, you are on cloud 9.
You've never felt so good.
Yeah, amazing.
And so at that point, we had a huge like energy boost.
Yep, totally.
And so those people can look those first several miles. There was no walking.
Mhm.
It was just like running 2 miles so that we get to the bathroom
Yeah,
because it was emergency mode.
yep.
And then after that, feeling a lot of energy, so we're just running. There's
Yeah.
no walking. The only thing was the 3.5 minutes of standing.
Yes, yes. So that's probably one of the worst things to do in a race, especially more towards the middle or end, is stand.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
When you stand,
Yep.
it for some reason saps your
Uh-huh.
energy or resets it in
Your
a different way
momentum.
than walking does.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of ran steady until like, what do you think? 6?
Yeah. Let me. I should pull up our splits. Actually,
Oh yeah.
I should have pulled up our splits before.
Can you do that? Can I do that?
Yeah.
I think we can.
Oh yeah.
both
I've got the splits. Okay. So okay. Mile 1 was 11:12.
Okay.
They're all like 11:12.
Yeah, just in
Um,
case people are wondering how fast it was. I really thought we were going to be kind of in the high 12s the
Yep.
whole time based
Right.
on the training that's happened.
Yep.
And you were prepping me for that, right?
Right. The run walk and
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, because my goal was sub 13, like in the 12s.
Yep. Okay, I'm looking at mine too. Now I can see my splits. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I've got 11 that first mile was our fastest.
You're
11:23 I've got.
Oh yeah.
Then that second mile is long, but mostly because of the standing there.
Yep.
Because on mile 3 we're back in the 11s.
Yep.
I mean, it's interesting to look at. We had some pretty slow ones kind of later in the race,
Yep.
but most of them look real good, dude.
Yeah. I'm proud of the race.
We are
Yep.
unabashedly proud of ourselves.
Yep. It was fun.
We have a right to be proud of ourselves, right?
Yeah,
we
dude.
ran a half marathon. It was
Totally.
great. We finished it.
Yep.
Not always pretty. We'll get to that.
Yep.
But I would say kind of those next several miles, we're talking
Yep.
about the race itself. Every time this is what happens when you run with Anthony. Every time you pass a restaurant,
Oh, yeah.
you say, "Ooh, I love that restaurant. You tell me all about it."
Yeah. Totally. And one of so we had a great taskmaster that came with us, and this is a Gomer's tip, I think, is to pace groups are the thing, man.
Yeah, we did connect with that pace group for a while.
So there was the 2:45 pace group. That's the 2 hours 45, and also the 5:30 because the marathon was happening at the same time.
Right. And so those two pacers were together, a
Yeah.
5:30 and a 2:45. And there was probably a group of how many people do you think?
30?
Yeah, 20 or 30.
Yeah.
And they were doing 2-to-1s.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we ran consistently for those first many miles, but then it's just funny because they would run past us
Yep.
on their runs,
Yeah.
and then we'd run past them on their walks, right?
But we were always like in their sphere.
yeah.
So that was cool to see. And I don't it's helpful for me
Yeah.
because I'm just like, okay, we're kind of running steady at this point.
Yep. And it's also I think of like ghost trials on Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can just see that ghost, and you're like,
Totally, that's a great analogy. I couldn't have done it better.
The pace team is like the ghost.
Right, because when you're racing the ghost in Mario Kart, sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind, but you always know I'm right around there, right? And people are talking and friendly, and like we were just saying, getting to know each other in that group. It's just a nice constant.
Yep.
So even though we weren't doing exactly what they were doing, we were around them most of the race.
Yep.
And then we're kind of having our own conversation, talking about stuff, talking about life.
Yep.
At one point you said, what are the odds that we would see a listener?
Actually, I said, because there's tons of people with Treks, after that was very Midwest. Aftershocks. And AirPods, and lots of people listening to music. And I mean, I would say almost everybody I saw is wearing something.
Yeah.
This is the first race I think I've ever done without headphones.
We didn't bring our headphones.
No headphones.
I thought that was cool, dude.
I totally do too.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
I think we have, in races past that we've done, the marathons, we've always brought our headphones. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Even when we ran the try, we had our headphones somehow.
Like, I need water headphones. Like I need my. You're right. Like that. I think that's age and stage 2, and also experience, and like we're starting to embrace the like non-distracted need. Like when you run, you just want to pray and think. We used to be so concerned about what song we would start on. Yeah, that's fun.
That is fun, but we just didn't need it this time. We had to be so bad.
Yeah, and didn't know when we started. It was like, was that the line?
Where would we have clicked the button?
I don't know.
Squirt that quick. So yes, that was really interesting. No headphones. We basically talked the entire time.
Totally. Aaron called at one point because they were going to meet us at mile 6 or so and cheer us on. And we were going to maybe give him some stuff. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
But she called, and I've got my Apple Watch. And so she called my wrist, right?
Yep.
And I picked it up. And so then that's an awful thing to do, is to run while talking with your wrist up.
You don't want to hold your wrist up. That takes a lot of running energy away.
Terrible. So that's the only time I wish I had headphones.
Yeah.
And we were with the pace group member.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know where we are. And then she was like, well, bub. And I was like, babe, I'm super sorry. I can't hold my wrist up anymore. Love you. Bye.
Hang up.
Because
people were laughing about that.
Yeah, they were laughing.
Yep.
And the pacer, even, she was like, yeah, we weren't meant to run with our wrists up. So
yeah.
So that was funny.
Yep.
But because she said that they just saw the 150 pace group pass by. And so we're in the 245 pace group. And so then you and I, for a while, were trying to do math. So we were like, are they 55 minutes ahead of us? No.
They will be when they finish, but they're not now. And so we were doing that math in our heads.
We're at mile 2.
And then I gave up because I couldn't do the math anymore.
We're at mile 3. So they're 55 minutes ahead of us. Divided by 13 times 3.
Right.
We're like, I don't know.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah. We're like, that's where it stopped.
Is that when we had what are the odds that we would see a listener conversation? Because we were thinking about math.
I said, I said, no, what are the odds that somebody is listening to the Gomers?
Oh, that was what it was. Yeah.
Is like somebody's listening to the podcast.
In their headphones.
Right.
And so I said, maybe Annie would be.
Yep.
But I didn't think she would be.
No.
So I basically was like, I think it's like 0%.
Yep.
Then, I can't remember what mile it was exactly. We heard the Gomers.
Yeah. Between 3 and 5. Sarah Cook.
Yep. A listener.
Yep.
And a runner in the race. And she recognized our voices.
Yeah. And she said, you guys are it's unmistakable.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah. So
needle in a haystack.
She was running the full.
Uh-huh.
We heard her having a conversation with somebody else about the tutu she was wearing, that it was also a running belt.
Yeah.
And so she had stuff in it. So, I mean, just super fun. We chatted a little bit. we ran ahead of her. She ran ahead of us. It was one of those things.
Because she was doing splits, right? She was doing run,
Yes.
walk, run. Yep.
Yep. And they were different than ours, basically.
Right.
And so when you're doing different splits from somebody else, you're not going to stay with them. But it was really great to have. I mean, this happens to us all the time.
Yeah. If we wore like a uniform, like not like a race outfit. I don't know. What were you like?
Like you mean like a Gomer's branded outfit when we ran?
Not what is it called? Uniform?
Sure.
Running clothing?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
If we had that was like Team Gomer, which we do have, there would probably be more people.
I wonder if more
also
people
if we
would.
announced it. I think I mean, even though I'm an extrovert, you're an introvert, I don't think we really want to be in a crowd of people that we meet.
No, not really. I mean,
We've never tried, other than the couple of race meetups that were really fun. We've never tried to like drum up a gathering.
You're right. I think one of the reasons for that is we do spend so little time together.
I thought you were going to say so much time waiting to go to the bathroom.
No. So little time together.
Yeah.
That I'm not
totally.
If we're going to see each other, now this might change if we do a yearly thing.
Right.
But if we're going to see each other once every 5 years and run a race together, like it's been so long, I don't necessarily want to attract a crowd.
Right.
I want to have a conversation with you.
Yep.
That's one of the things I was
Hang out
looking
and have
forward
fun.
to most this weekend is that race conversation.
Yeah.
So it was still really cool to meet a listener.
Yeah, that was cool.
That gave me quite a bit of energy for what we do. So that was awesome. I was just trying to find her comment, but she did comment on our Facebook later and said that she saw us from behind.
Oh yeah.
Later in the race and saw us finish.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's something that's psychologically, Aaron was talking about, kind of messed up about this race.
Yeah.
Is that the half marathon and marathon split at mile 12?
Yeah.
And so maybe even past 12. So when you're running the marathon, you can see the half marathon finish.
No, I mean, yeah.
Like you run past the
13.0 something.
Okay. Yeah.
And so those full people can watch us finish.
Yeah. That's Sarah.
And then Sarah had to run 13.1 more miles.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Sarah.
Yeah.
You were alive enough to update us on Facebook, so she must be okay.
Yes.
But that is brutal. Psychologically brutal.
Yeah, like there were those two women in front of us that split up. The one went...
Two friends.
Yeah, two friends. And they were like, bye.
I would have just... If we had done that and I was doing the full, I would have been like, never mind.
Forget it.
Yep. Bad plan.
The opposite wouldn't happen. Like, oh, sure, I can... Wait,
sorry, I guess I exposed myself right now by not thinking that the opposite would happen.
Oh, no, wait. But like, who was that? Timothy? Remember Timothy that ran the full with us? And he was like,
right.
I'll just do the full. Remember that?
Yep,
He actually did do the opposite.
Yeah.
Or he's like, I got time. I'll just do the full. Remember that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he was like graduating from college that day.
We would not do that. She went one way.
Way to go, Sarah.
We finished at that point. But it was cool that we were seeing each other over and over again.
Yeah.
Now, we were kind of approaching Aaron and the girls meeting us.
Mm-hmm.
And we were having another close conversation. They met us around 7, right?
Yes. Yep.
7 mile mark. I was feeling good.
Totally good. The rain was coming down, but the worst of the rain was after this.
Which, of course, we didn't know.
Right.
I really think there was a point after we met with Aaron.
Yeah.
That was the worst of the rain coming down.
And it seemed to get colder.
Yep.
Yeah, because what we didn't say is that after about 3 miles or so, I shed my rain jacket because it is...
You got hot.
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot, and a rain jacket doesn't have the same give because it's waterproof.
It's not breathable, and so you're like you're trapping the heat in there. Mm-hmm. And so you were feeling hot enough to actually take the running jacket off and tie it around your waist.
Yeah.
And then I was seeing that. I was starting to feel hot. And so as we were approaching the 7 mile mark where I knew we were going to see Erin,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to give her my jacket.
Yeah.
So I had kind of a tech running shirt underneath, long
Yep.
sleeve.
Uh-huh.
So did you
Mhm.
underneath. And so we did make that decision. When we saw Erin and the girls, which was super fun.
So cute. Yep. And they were so loud too.
Yes,
Coming up
very
that hill,
loud.
Like it's so cute because like they've been waiting there for like 30 minutes.
Right.
And they see us, you
Yep.
know, 6-year-old, 10-year-old. And
Mhm.
Erin too, has a great cheer voice. I wasn't gonna say cheerleader, but like a great cheer voice.
Yep. Yeah.
And they have signs that are wet. And
Yep.
so yeah.
That is something that was almost completely absent on this.
Yes. COVID
Far
still.
fewer spectators because of the rain and cold, and almost no signs
Yep.
because it was raining.
I don't remember almost any.
There was like
Yeah.
2 signs I saw the whole time. Very unusual,
Mm-hmm.
which is a bummer because I wanted to have a perfect race sign episode.
Oh yeah.
We'll have that someday.
Yeah.
Not this time though, because we didn't see any signs.
Nope.
And I'm showing this to people watching. Even your bib, like almost disintegrated
Yeah, the race
with the
bib-
rain.
Yeah, the rain. I mean, I spent half the race just continuously pinning my bib.
It doesn't look as bad as it actually is, Nation, that I'm showing to the camera right now. It's like you had to unpin and pin it so many times because it kept tearing off of your shirt.
Yeah.
It was disintegrating.
It's just disintegrating.
Yep. And so I guess that makes sense. So they're there. We give them the jackets.
Yep.
We have a kind of a brief hugs and cheering.
Yeah.
That's the standing moment.
Yep.
Where it's like-
right.
I felt a huge, I mean, I was encouraged by them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did feel a huge energy dip there. Just
Yep.
stopping.
Right. Stopping, and I could not get my phone out of my rain jacket.
Right.
Right,
And
'cause
so
my
there was
hands
some
are wet
like,
and
hurry up.
Dang it. Oh.
It's so cold at that point.
Yep.
That should have been the indication right there. Because Nation, huge mistake
Yeah.
to give those rain jackets away.
Yep. So that would be, if I was to do it again, I would get a long sleeve layer that I'm gonna shed from like Goodwill or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Or an old thing or something. Shed that, but keep a lightweight rain jacket or a poncho or a something
Yeah.
instead of shedding the poncho and having a long sleeve shirt.
I mean, sometimes you trust your gut and it works.
Yep.
Sometimes your gut is telling you something and you don't follow your gut. And that's the wrong decision.
Yep.
This time we trusted our gut on the rain jackets and it was a huge mistake because
Yeah.
I would say almost immediately
Yeah.
it started raining steady.
Yeah.
No longer misting.
Right.
There was a breeze.
Mm-hmm.
It just was, I was frigid
Yeah.
and soaking wet. At that point,
Yes.
there's puddles everywhere. And so
Yep.
my feet and
Feet
socks
are, yeah.
were completely wet. The only decision that was right at that point was that we had shorts on.
Yeah,
not
that was
pants.
perfect.
Yep.
If we'd had pants on, that would have been awful.
It
Well, not awful, but
it
just,
would have been
eh.
it would have been worse than it already
Yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
So there were several miles there, 2 or 3 miles, maybe between like 8 and 11,
Yeah.
where it was just, for me, misery.
Yeah.
I was not having any fun. My chest was freezing,
Oh, yeah.
and that was like freaking me out
Oh, yeah.
because I don't like that feeling because then I feel like I'm going to get sick after this.
Oh, right.
So my whole upper torso and stomach too was like freezing. And so I would see people that still had rain jackets on or vests
Yeah.
get so jealous and mad.
Yeah. You made the right decision. We did not.
And so there was a point where we're just like kind of gritting our teeth. I think it's not the hardest race we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
That's the full marathon
Yeah,
place. But I
totally.
do think it was the hardest half I've ever done.
Yeah.
The most uncomfortable half marathon I've ever done in my life.
No doubt.
There's benefits to that. We do hard things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, so we thought the headline of the run was going to be the hills. But
Okay, there's a benefit of it.
Yep.
I didn't even notice the hills.
didn't notice the hills. And I will say, I don't think the hills were nearly as bad
No.
as people were saying.
I think it must be that if you're trying to run fast, the hills would be an issue.
Good point.
They weren't for us.
That wasn't the problem.
No. And then and at that point
Yeah.
too, we were much more purposefully run walking.
Yes.
We were doing like 4-to-1s at that point. And then we were doing like 3-to-1s, and then actually we're doing 2-to-1s, but who cares? That's great.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I think that helps with the hills, of course. But the rain and the cold was so bad
Yeah.
that I really didn't even notice the hills.
Didn't. Nope.
And at first my feet were fine, and then after a certain time it was just like soaked.
Yep. There's the something happens. There's that one puddle.
Yep.
It's like you're doing so good,
Mhm.
and then you step in one wrong.
Yes.
I mean, it's Groundhog Day.
Watch out for that first step. It's a doozy.
Yeah. So, man, we were wet.
Yep.
Just soaked, like we had gotten out of a cold shower, and the shower
Totally.
was still, or we were in a cold shower.
Yeah. Yep.
Hair dripping everywhere.
Yep.
My hands were like really
They
cold.
were like raisins.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. We had exactly. It was like all the oil was out of your body.
Mm-hmm.
That was rough, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
Yeah, and we were having deep convos too,
Yep.
and some of those can spiral up, and some of those can spiral down.
Yeah. So I loved the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved being able to share some stuff I was sharing with you, but it wasn't fun stuff.
Right. You always talk, not you, like the conversations on races are always emotional
Yeah.
and deep and are like, they're usually about harder stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not like you're like, and then, we had a baby and everything was amazing, or like, I got this awesome job and everything rocked. It's like,
No, we're just asking each other about our
Like,
lives,
yeah, it's
and
like-
and there's not fun stuff to talk about.
Right? This
Right?
sucks. Like, what's
Yeah.
hard?
Yeah. And I'm trying to explain some things, and I'm not explaining them very well. I'm getting frustrated with myself, and also drenched, freezing cold,
Right.
and having to run 6 more miles,
Right.
after already having run 7.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you're stopping and then you can have a cup of coffee and be like, man, dude, I know, dude. Like, that's so tough.
So
Like,
right, exactly.
and also the conversations you're always looking forward to,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right? Like, you're not looking at each other.
right. It's a very odd way to have a conversation. All that said,
Odd but awesome. But
the conversation that we had made the race zip by. If I
Totally.
had been doing that race by myself, it would have felt like it was taking twice as long,
Sure.
even if I had finished an hour before,
Yep.
right? But because my mind was engaged, I mean, I really think it helped so much
Mhm.
to be continuing having conversation, distracted from the misery.
Yeah.
And then once in a while you're like, okay, we're running. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Or we see a restaurant that you want to tell me about and point out to that one has really good pho. That one has really good noodles.
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I talked to you about my parking strategy for the pho place
Right.
down there.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that was really cool was, so this is like our new city. We've been here for coming up on 5 years now.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so we're in places that I've either been only in a car
Yeah.
or places that I've never been.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really interesting for me, like to be proud of my city, proud of Atlanta.
Yeah.
We feel, we're Madisonians for life, but have really grown like a.
Yeah.
Although whenever we go back to Tampa, we're like, oh yeah, this kind of was home because we were there for 10 years.
It really was
Like,
home. Yeah.
yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so that was neat to see different places. I mean, we ran past Martin Luther King Jr.'s church, Ebenezer
It was incredible.
Baptist.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
so, like, we were like, he preached there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
Every
ran
Sunday.
right through the Sweet Auburn
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yep.
So
Texted
that was
Donnell.
right by Donnell's house, probably.
Yep.
It was we ran by kind of some of the parks that you've played in with your orchestra before.
Yeah.
We ran. I mean, you kind of work down there in that area, and so there's a lot of places you were familiar with, but also places you'd never seen before.
Yep.
So that was cool for it to be a new city for me, but to also hear about, oh, what's that building? That's that thing,
Yep.
right? Or this is where this has happened.
Yep.
So it was also sort of like a tour.
Yeah.
You were my tour. You were my
Definitely.
docent
Yeah. Right.
through Atlanta. And I really love unfamiliar places to run through because
Yes.
it's so interesting and
That-
distracts from the pain a little bit.
That's a cool way to see a city.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally cool. Like that, like running tourism. That actually sounds really fun.
Okay, let's start that business. Gomer Tourism.
Right.
We run super slowly through a city.
But you come and savor a city.
Yeah,
You know what
that's true. And we talked a lot about that, right? You
Mhm.
see things when you're running by or running through that you don't see when you're driving past.
I mean?
And
Yep.
you really do experience that in a run in a city like that. It was, it was seriously like I would say 3/4 of the time in big tall buildings.
Yep.
And then you gotta love that you get to run through red lights and right down the center
Yeah.
strip.
I love that. It like you feel so like watched over and taken care of by like the awesome volunteers
Yeah.
and police officers and stuff.
Yep.
Like they're all like they're holding traffic.
Mm-hmm.
They're passing through. Like I mean, it's funny because sometimes they're like, oh yeah, here comes 2 guys. Yeah, we can probably let like 4 cars out.
Yeah.
Before them.
Here those guys come. Finally, the traffic can go. They can just tell. So, I mean, I think the rest of the race was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it really felt like it didn't take a super long time.
Yep. It did whiz by. It started with a whiz, and then it whizzed
then
by.
it whizzed by. And the hills, I think I knew there were hills, and sometimes we would walk,
Yep.
but it wasn't this like brutal
There
thing
was-
that I was nervous about in the Jitters episode.
There was no hill that was defeating like Minnesota or Minneapolis.
Right.
Like just like nope.
Yeah. You look at it and you're thinking, there's actually no way. This is going to take every ounce of me to get up this hill.
Why did they do that? That one hill. I
don't
guess
know.
maybe the race course people, they must have been like, this is it. Like this is
Yeah.
because you had to go through that whole like lake area.
I remember. Yeah.
and-
Yeah. And so they
just
just
to
have
get-
nowhere else to put it. I don't know.
yeah. Should have put an escalator there.
Totally. Shuttle us up.
Right.
So we did. We finished in what was the time?
2:48
Yep.
was the race.
2:48.
We were aiming for 2:45, and
That
with
would have been
Wiz-
fun, but with Wiz, that's
with-
2:45.
with Wiz.
Yeah.
So I
Mit Wiz.
mit Wasser race mit Wiz. Yeah. So I would say, yeah, because my main goal was I wanted to beat our first marathon or first halftime.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like at the end of the race, I was talking about how, like, I love this. It's fun. It's been fun to get back into this again and to consistently train, and that I think this is one of those things that I want to do every year, like
Right.
this, because you've got your Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had like a good, like this race,
A
this-
rhythm, a race rhythm.
a good race rhythm,
Yeah.
and that I love this race.
Yeah.
I think it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's super easy to get to with the lift.
Yep.
I want to do this every year.
I would love to do it without the misery.
Yeah, of course.
So the hills were way better than I was worried about.
Yep.
The rain and cold was exactly what it was, or worse,
Yep.
of what I was worried about. All of my worries came true. They were realized.
Yeah.
It would be hard. It would, again, I'll just say it would have been way, way, way worse. I mean, 1,000% worse
Yeah.
without you
Yeah.
and having somebody to distract me
Yeah.
and having good conversation happening. And I probably would have burned out or something and just been like, why am I even doing this, and stop.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah. All that said, it's pretty cool to think about we did it in those conditions.
Yeah.
To
Yep.
have had done it is nice.
Yep. Have I ever done a half marathon by myself? Oh yeah, Disney.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, I did Disney.
Yep.
That was my PR.
You did that 10-miler in Cleveland by yourself.
Did the 10 mile in Cleveland? Yep.
Yeah, you've raced by yourself.
I was
It's
just trying
it's
to-
just a whole different thing when you're with somebody.
Totally. I just know you've done a lot of halves. Wait,
Yeah.
have you? What halves have you done by yourself?
The Flagstaff I've done by myself. The Phoenix one I have done by myself.
Okay.
So yeah. Oh, the Madison one that we did
Oh,
right after the
yeah.
OG one.
Yep.
I was with Jay
Yeah.
for a while, and then he just ran away.
Bye. Ooh.
So I actually, I mean, it is kind of fun to do a half by yourself
Yeah.
if the conditions are right. What I'm saying
That would
is
have been
that
yeah.
yesterday would have been really rough.
Also, why would you have been there?
That's
like-
true.
Like you text me like, "Hey, dude, I'm running the Atlanta half today." Like, wait, why?
Well, maybe
Like,
if
I
you
live
had
here.
gotten sick or something, and we had
Oh,
decided
yeah.
I should come anyway and run it. I don't know.
Yeah. Sure,
Um,
sure.
So, yeah, I love the idea of this being your yearly race rhythm.
Yep. Yeah. So I was talking in the ending about how the atomic habits, the keystone habit of the 2 to 3 miles a day,
Mm-hmm.
for me has been such a natural, amazing rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
and how running sprouting out of it. Like I think that's why I'm able to do this. Actually, is so whatever 3 times 7, 21.
Yeah.
So I've been doing at least 20 miles a week
Yeah.
for
Right.
2 years.
Yep.
So
Mostly thanks to Indy.
all thanks to Indy.
Oh, and I would admit 100% that Chewy
Yeah.
changed my
Yep.
walking rhythm
Yep.
night and day.
Yep. That's our dogs, by the way.
Yep.
Um,
Not Indiana Jones and Chewy.
right. Although our dogs are named after
Right.
the best, two of the best characters.
It is sort of those two.
Right. And they're also best friends.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but
Wait,
so I was,
Indiana Jones and Chewy aren't.
yeah, but Harrison Ford
Oh, I
and
see.
Chewie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They're connected.
Right. Right.
Yep.
And Indiana was named after, or Chewie was named after
It's all connected.
Indy.
Yeah. Love
Yeah.
it.
Co-pilot. So I was talking about future goals,
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
which was great. I want to make this part of my yearly trellis
Yep.
because there's those yearly trellises, right? Driving back to Madison.
Yep.
I mean, maybe it's a Enneagram 4 thing, but you're just like, what is life? Like you're just constantly thinking about where I was on this trip last year, the year before,
No,
10 years.
that's a me thing too.
Okay, yeah.
Jessica's always like, you don't have to tell me everything that happened exactly last year all the time. And I'm like, it helps me. I love it. She's like, yeah, it helps too.
It does help.
The 5-year
Yeah.
journal is amazing for that.
Oh yeah.
Where I'm always like, you're not going to believe what happened a year ago today.
Yes.
Because half the time it's like, that felt like yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And the other half is like, I thought that was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wonder. I've got my 5-year journal.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Let's see what was happening.
Okay. I wonder if it has anything to do with me.
Okay, let's see. So what today is? Are we on the 28th?
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. Today a
The
year.
final day of February.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, last year today, Crawford Loritz preached at Passion. He was awesome.
Okay.
Oh, we made hash browns and quail eggs.
Nice.
Okay, this is all food that I ate. We made we made French dip sandwiches for dinner.
All right. You write a lot about food in yours, right?
Yes. Okay, here we go. Check this out. Okay, the year before, is 2020. We are 3 weeks away from everything shutting down.
Mm.
And then the year before that, I played my first concert today
Yeah.
on my new bassoon.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mother Goose. It was Mother Goose by Ravel.
Wow. Nice.
So that's 3 years. So my bassoon and I have a 3-year anniversary today. Didn't even know that.
Wow. Congratulations, bassoon.
Good job, 7502.
Last year at this time, I ran a 13.1 because Jessica and I decided in 2021 that we were going to run one a month.
Oh, yeah.
So so
Right.
that's crazy.
Uh-huh.
I ran a half marathon
Today.
last year today.
Huh.
You write a lot about food. I keep track of something else that I can't reveal on this. But then here I wrote, we relax in the afternoon and watch Hercules and sing a lot of the songs together, plus other ironic bangers.
Oh,
There you
nice. Nice.
If we do something together as a family that I think is fun, it's got to make it in the 5-year journal.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the things I want to remember, savor. So yeah, the rhythm, like a race rhythm, is just another way,
Yep.
I think, to live mindfully.
Yep.
And so that was we had that conversation toward the end of the race. I was like, I mean, you're also raw at that point, so I asked you like,
Right.
are you going to keep running after
You want
this?
to keep doing this? Yeah, totally.
And we will talk on a future episode about some of the things we talked about that are coming up.
Yeah.
Changes in the podcast, slight changes in the podcast, and we have been having conversation about what our next big goal is.
Yeah.
Round 12 miles, I was like, are you even going to do this anymore?
Yeah. You want to keep doing this? I don't know, man.
And that's when we had that really helpful conversation about like,
Yeah.
I want to include this race rhythm into
Yep.
my life.
Yep.
So that was a kind of a cool way to end the conversation of the race also.
Yep.
We finished really strong.
Totally strong.
You'll hear when you hear the live thing, I was running behind you
Oh, yeah.
and talking into the thing about how proud I was of you.
Oh, nice.
Because it was like a strong finish, bro.
Yeah.
We didn't hobble over that thing.
No way.
We ran hard through that finish line.
Yep.
And it was amazing. Pumping, bumping music.
Totally. They still have the music playing for us.
they hadn't wrapped up all the chords. Like when we ran our last marathon together and we were like, everyone has left. No music anymore.
just a lonely clock.
Just some guy asking, you were still out there?
Yeah.
We hear that like pace car behind us creeping up.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, you got to get off the course.
My Uncle Paul.
It wasn't like that. There was still plenty of excitement.
Oh, yeah.
You hear those clinks of the metals.
Yeah. Yep. And there were tons of people in around us. And like,
Yep. We finished with a lot of people.
Yep. That really makes you feel good
It does.
too.
Not
is
to be
like-
alone.
Yeah, not to be alone.
Yeah.
But to be, just surrounded by people. I don't know. It's really fun. And we were surrounded by like a lot of really cool people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely. Yeah, it was, and a lot of people that we had seen
Yep.
over and over again. I do
Whale.
wish I could have seen Sarah and waved to her. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a girl with a whale tattoo on her. What's
Or,
this?
like her calf.
Her calf.
Yeah.
And we kept passing her, and she kept passing us, and I would always say, "Whale tattoo girl,"
Yeah.
whenever we passed her. Yeah, you get to know those people. We finished. We got our medals,
Yep.
and at that point, I was like, "Get me the frick out of here."
Yeah. As soon as it was done, instant cold sets in because when you're moving your body,
Yeah,
but remember, like you were trying to like update like Instagram.
yeah.
Literally couldn't type.
I couldn't
Like
move my
thumbs.
thumb. It was so my hands were frozen. It felt like.
Yeah.
So that was. I felt like that's the worst I felt.
Yep.
You
Standing
want to
there.
feel like
standing-
whenever you finish a race, right? It feels like that. You feel a little bit of elation.
Yep.
Then you feel like after a marathon, you're like, what did I do to myself? And now I'm going to have to recover for a couple months. Half marathon doesn't feel that bad. But yesterday I was like, I feel so butt awful.
Yep. And then we had to walk to the car.
Yeah.
And then sit in the car for 30 minutes.
Longer than that, bro, because we
Oh.
went. So we saw Mr. Aaron again, celebrated a little bit. It was
Yep.
raining. He was shaking,
Yep. Totally.
shivering.
Yeah.
I mean, listener, I can't explain to you how miserable this was.
Yeah. It's pretty nasty.
You just imagine dunking yourself in an ice bath and then going outside when it's freezing cold and breezing on you, and also raining still.
And still.
Right. And your legs feel like they're gonna fall off.
Yep.
So we got some swag and some food, but mostly I was just like, let's get out of here.
Yeah, there was I usually like to stick around
Yep.
and just like
Stretch a little bit,
Yep.
talk to people. Yeah.
yeah.
not the case
No.
yesterday. Then we get in the car. Let's talk a little bit post race,
Yeah.
and then we can end the app.
Yep.
And then we can come back to some of the stuff that we had talked about, what's in the future.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing next time we record, we can also talk about everything we forgot about.
Oh yeah,
this.
we'll remember things. But we were like, now we're getting in the car and we're
Mhm.
like, well, what do we want to eat? Right?
Yep.
Because like, what's your post-run meal? Now, I did down a chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, they hand you Publix chocolate milk
Mm.
with your race medal.
Yeah.
I mean,
And which one is more valuable at that point? I don't know.
some of that chocolate milk is so good. I just absolutely love it. The only thing that would make it better is a little bit of seltzer water. Make it an egg cream.
Ooh, yeah.
But yeah, down to that, they had Publix, had mac and cheese and like
Sausages.
sausage. Like,
I've never seen a hot meal before.
no, that was great.
So I guess that's a Publix thing.
Yep.
You're right about Publix all along.
Publix rocks.
We celebrated a little bit when we saw Aaron and the girls.
Yep.
And
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was
they
fun
gave
and
hugs and
yeah. But at that point, I wasn't processing the race at all.
Right.
I was just like, I really need to get home. I need to get into some place where I'm not getting rained on.
Now it's like Survivor almost. You know, like where they're on Survivor and they're just wet
Yeah.
for like a month
Yep. Yeah. Misery.
and sandy.
So we decided we're going to have some McDonald's on the way home.
Yeah, so we were like, one idea was Waffle House.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's classic, but then it's like, but you got to go home and shower and then go.
Right.
Like that's too long.
Yeah.
So we went to McDonald's, but actually Waffle House with a shower probably would have been shorter than going to
Back at this
McDonald's.
McDonald's by your house. And we were in the drive-thru. We order a lot of food.
Yeah. So there was 5 of us.
Right.
So, although Aaron didn't get anything, but the girls, Isla had her first chicken nuggets ever.
Oh.
She's never had chicken
Did
nuggets.
she like them?
Oh yeah, she was loving it.
Okay, great. She was loving it.
She was loving
Hey,
it.
They
Oh.
were right. They've been right all along. We were there at that McDonald's for 40 minutes
Easy. Yeah.
through the drive.
And we were the last people to order. So
They shut the place down after us because they were understaffed.
right. So well, first of all, the night before we talked about on the last episode,
Mm-hmm.
we literally saw the cook leave when we were in that drive-thru. Remember, he stormed out and left. So
Something not great is happening at McDonald's right now.
right.
And we suffered the consequences.
Yep. So we ordered, and then they said go ahead to parking spot number 1 or whatever.
Right.
So went and parked there, and 30 minutes went past.
You finally went in and asked, and they were like, "We're still preparing your meal."
Yeah, they just said, "Oh yeah, we're still preparing your lunch." And I looked in there. One person was on the grill, one person was on her phone, and then another person was manning the drive-thru, which was empty and now had a sign that said, "We're not open."
So finally, we just backed up.
Yeah, we just
Again,
Yeah.
so that we could be by the window.
to the drive-thru window. Yep.
Right. They handed our food out.
Luckily, they gave us our Cokes.
Well, but
So we
there was
were-
a Coke issue because we're supposed to have 2 larges.
2 largest and a medium, but they only gave us a large and a medium.
And then you said, I was supposed to get a second large instead of this medium. And she goes, well, it must be wrong in the receipt. And you're like, okay. In a way that was like, get me my large anyway.
She was like, well, I rang it up as a medium. I said, okay. So then she just poured me a large.
Handed it through.
So now Lily got the medium. You and I got 2 larges.
But then
or a large
we
each.
looked in the bag and the order was wrong. We were missing a Big Mac.
Yep, there was Big Mac missing, and then the fries were cold.
So you asked for hot fries.
So I was like, is there any way, I know we've been waiting for a while, but can we get some hot fries? She's like, oh, sure. And so then she went back in there and they made a bunch of fries. So they gave us a bag of fries, like 5 larges.
Yeah.
Like it must have been the whole thing.
I don't know the reasoning for the 5 larges,
Yeah.
but I wasn't going to complain.
Right.
Like if they just didn't know how many larges we had and so gave us 5, or else they were just like, they might have felt bad.
Yeah, because we were waiting at that point for 40 minutes.
And then while they were getting us the fries, we realized we didn't have a Big Mac, so they had to make
Yep,
another
so
one for us.
I was like, I'm super sorry, but can you please make that second Big Mac we ordered?
and Aaron is in the back seat like, I will not stand for this. Go in there and ask them for our food. Because Aaron, and I've experienced this before, is like, we paid way too much for that hotel room. Calls, gets us a discount, right?
Yeah.
She's really good at that stuff.
Totally.
So that was it ended up being so friggin' delicious. I mean,
Yeah, it was
all
very-
that trouble,
yeah.
and you just can't deny the
Yep.
Big Mac is good.
It's so fantastic. I got the 2 cheeseburgers
Yeah.
and the fish fillet.
Yep.
Mm.
You got a Big Mac. Lily got a Big Mac. Isla got, and then we got nugs for everybody.
And it really, really, a post-race McDonald's
Yeah.
can't be beat.
A bag of hot fries, hot salty fries that were straight out of the fryer just for us.
Blazing
Ice cold
hot.
Coke.
Yep. Ice cold Coke. Larges.
Totally. Okay.
And then, I mean, then we really just chilled the rest of the day.
Yeah, so we got back to our house. We all showered up. We
Yep.
did apples to apples, which is
Mhm.
classic.
Girls love that game.
fun.
Yep.
So fun. And then we hung out and
Oh, we
I-
ordered a bunch of Indian food.
well, yeah. So I said, because now it's like 12:40, and I was like, what do we want to? I was like, do we want 2 more meals or 1 more meal? I was like, because I'm cool with just 1 more meal after all that McDonald's. And you're like, well, we could do 2. And I was like, yeah, definitely, because we had talked about the bulgogi fries, which we found out was closed on Sunday.
Right.
So then we're like, well, Thai and Indian are the other 2, because you get insane Southwestern and Mexican food.
Right. So, and for some reason, we had passed an Indian food restaurant on the race.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that looks and sounds really good.
just something so warm and comforting.
And so we did end up doing that. Ate so much Indian food
Oh yeah.
because it was so good. What was the place called? Curry Leaf.
Curry leaf in Marietta, so
Yep.
good. Yeah, the rice is fragrant. We got tikka masala, we got butter chicken, we got sag,
Oh yeah.
goat,
Yep.
the like spinach and paneer cheese or whatever, and then we got the mango lassis and
So much naan.
yeah, 3 different kinds of naan.
Yep.
One that was so hot, so spicy.
surprisingly spicy.
Yep,
And then like a sweet one.
yep, a sweet naan, the cherry naan.
We got a garlic naan, we got butter
Right.
naan, we got plain naan.
Yeah. Oh, and we got tandoori chicken.
And
That-
chicken tikka masala.
And then
Oh
what
my
was
gosh.
that one stewed chicken also?
Oh, I don't remember what the name was.
And then there was like a grilled cubes of chicken.
Mm-hmm. I mean, nation, it was a feast.
It was
We thank you, patrons.
yes.
Um,
And the girls love it too.
Right.
Like so that's super fun. And Aaron was in heaven too. So
so we played some Switch. We had some more deep conversation.
Yep.
The 3 of us, you, me, and Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Girls went to bed.
Yep.
We watched first half of Pertner's Secret of My Success, which I'd never seen before, and was loving, bro.
Good.
But then Aaron came down for putting the girls to bed, and we had more deep conversation.
Yeah.
Then we were like, we should go to bed.
Uh-huh.
But first, let's watch an hour-long walkthrough of Epcot Center.
Oh man. Yeah.
So we just put on like a walkthrough of Epcot.
4K Epcot walkthrough during COVID, right? 2022.
Yep.
It looks like you're there.
So fun. Talked about Disney World for like an hour and then went to sleep.
Yep.
Could there be a better day?
Nope. That's tops.
This is one top day.
And we got to close it out with the 2 Gomers plus Aaron.
Yeah,
Like if Jessica had been there,
that would have been great.
because I want to hear more of her heart too.
Mhm. Yeah.
That would have put it over the edge.
There was some stuff you
Yep.
were doing last night that was like had me peeing my pants. You,
Oh.
you were doing some physical comedy stuff
Yeah,
about some stories. This is not a thing you can't get on Zoom.
Right.
Just telling me some stories about high school and some experiences you had. And some recent experiences too. And I was like rolling, dude.
You
So-
can't make that stuff up.
No,
you can't
some
make that
of this stuff. It wouldn't even make it into a movie because it's so
You're like, "No,
unbelievable.
that's fake."
Yeah. So tons of fun, great weekend, and this is what today has been.
Yep.
Recording some of our thoughts.
Yep.
I mean, we're in just a few minutes gonna head out to lunch.
Yep.
Pick up the girls from school because they want to see me one more time. Super
Yep.
sweet. They want to take me to the
Oh,
airport.
that was so okay. So that was the one really sad part was Lily is at that age, so she's 10.
Yeah.
And Isla was like, I'm ready to go to bed with mama.
Right.
Like Aaron's going to read her.
That's
But-
fine with her. That's, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
But Lily knows that you and I are going to hang out for another like 2 hours, watch a movie. And she's like,
Yeah.
I can remember being like, my dad is going
I
to hang
was
out with
just going to
friends.
say that. There's like, I mean, because my dad worked with college students, I was like, I know the
Oh.
hilarity.
Totally.
I know the fun that happens. I do not
Yeah.
want to go to bed. And that you can sense that from her. Like,
Yeah.
it's fun when these two guys are together.
Yeah.
She loves you, obviously.
Yeah.
She seems like she's into me.
Yep. Totally. Oh, for sure.
I mean, and I find them both very interesting, so that probably helps, right? I've had
Yeah.
constant questions for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was really sad when it was like she has to go to bed.
That
All
was-
of us were bummed.
I felt so like, I mean, if it were me, I'd been like, Lily, just stay with us. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, no doubt.
it was a
Would have been
school
like,
night.
Just stay up until you conk out.
Totally.
But
But it was a school night.
cooler heads prevailed.
Yep,
and
we-
she went to sleep.
She had a mama there.
Yep.
It was like, it's for your own good.
Right. Who knew that if we were in charge,
Yeah.
Lily would have had a miserable day today.
Yes.
And so everyone around her would have been miserable too. So it was the
Right.
right decision. But yeah, that was kind of a bummer. Otherwise, nonstop great fun this weekend, bro.
Yep.
A success.
Success.
The secret to my success
Mm-hmm.
with the dollar sign.
Perfect weekend.
Perfect weekend. It really was.
Minus, so you got to strike. No Jessica.
yeah.
Got to strike. No
that's a
boys.
bummer. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which was jam-packed with fun, deep
Mhm.
conversation, kind of me being let into your life a little bit more.
Yep.
Icing on the cake, a race.
Yeah.
And that's what often brings us together these days.
Yep.
You were saying this morning that some of your friends or some of your friends at church are like, you have a friend that you've been friends with for over 20 years.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Since 16 years old.
Yeah.
So almost 30 years.
Yeah. Almost 30 years. Creeping up on 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what people, I think, are more interested about in the podcast than anything is just like, or like that they comment on is like, I wish I had a friend like that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why a quarter of this podcast we were talking about McDonald's and not the race, because that's a huge part of it, right? Like
Yep.
hanging out, doing fun things,
Yeah.
relaxing in.
Yes.
I mean, I know people that would not have lasted 40 minutes in that drive-through, and we're just like letting what's that chemical in your legs?
Lactic
Yeah, letting that lactic acid just like solidify in your muscles.
rigor mortis has set in.
Right. It's like we got out of that car and it was like, because you're just sitting.
We could have at least gotten out and walked around or something.
The worst thing to do after a race is what we did.
Yep.
But we'll live. I'm
Yeah.
feeling sore today.
Feeling sore, but dude, massage gun, man.
Yep, massage
And
gun,
foam
foam roller.
roller. Yep.
We both did those things. We stretched. I stretched too late,
Yeah. No.
but
for sure.
there was no way we could have stretched outside at
No.
that race. I
Mm-mm.
mean, I suppose there is a way. Lots of people are doing it, but I just had to
Yeah.
get out of there. And then by the time we got home, I was like, "Uh-oh."
Oh, too late.
So it's going to be a little bit of recovery. What I want people to hear is that we did have significant conversation about what's next.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No quitting, just so people
No
know.
way. Oh no.
We also did listen to an old episode
Oh yeah.
because that email or that message from Jessica that we read during the Jitters episode reminded us of that time that we almost quit
Yep.
and did quit.
Yeah. The
in
episode,
2016.
the canon episode is called The Gut Punch.
Right.
That I couldn't believe that episode. And I love listening to us when, that sounds really arrogant, but like when we just don't give a rip and think we might just quit.
Yeah.
Because like you're like, I don't care about impressing anybody.
Nothing to
And, like,
lose.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just go out with flames.
Now that this is monetized, we have everything to lose. Just kidding. We don't even
No,
care.
not at all.
It's we love the fact, I'll just say this again because we're at the end of the weekend. We love the fact that we're able to do this now that we have a Patreon.
Yeah.
I don't think it's changed us at all about like our attitude toward each other and our
No.
listener. We just love the listeners. We're able to be honest. And we were really honest with each other about a lot of things this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
There are changes coming, new things coming, a new challenge, new big challenge,
Yeah.
big goal on the horizon.
Yep.
It's just a great weekend. Loved it.
Loved it too. And the girls loved it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yep.
They're going to be talking about it for months.
I told
Like-
them several inappropriate stories that I'm sure they're going to be repeating. Sorry.
I
for
love
a
it.
long time.
I love it.
Yeah.
The captain or the pirate joke.
Oh,
Super funny.
the pirate joke I told at dinner
Just-
and felt bad about because it was inappropriate.
Oh, it's all good. And and then knock knock who's there jokes and
Mhm.
just I also think you're I don't mean this in a bad way. You're a good foil for their dad.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like you yeah, like remember on Seinfeld when George wants Jerry to come so that you can see friendship George, like you can see
Yes.
George.
Yep.
You know, like they're because actually I think when it's me, Aaron, and the girls, we're more chill.
Sure.
You know, like I'm more of like a 4.
Yeah.
You bring out a 7 quality. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
not
sure.
to like oversimplify it, but
No.
I'm way more animated.
There we go.
You know, or
Yep.
something.
No, I agree with you 100%. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That a parent who has a good friend come over,
Mm.
the kids get to see the parent differently.
Yep.
And
I
it's,
would-
it's
yeah.
a really fun thing to see.
It is fun.
Yep. So they're
Yeah.
probably bummed that some of that energy is not going to be around when I'm here anymore,
Right.
but they'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Well-
it can be exhausting.
But yeah. Well, that's another thing that's fun because you and I talked a lot about like what would it be like to live
Yeah.
near each other,
right.
and like we even in the 4 days that we've been together, we don't laugh about like the most simple dumb things.
Mhm.
Like we're like, yeah, these nuts, like like, or I don't know, like maybe even we're getting to the point already only in 4 days of like we say lines and be like, yep, or like LOL,
Yes, that is funny.
yep, totally.
I recognize that is a funny joke.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But then sometimes I'm pretty surprised out of that malaise and I'm rolling on the ground laughing.
But it's how Aaron and Jessica have heard us say the same things over and over again.
Sure.
I think if we did life together where we lived near each other all the time,
Yeah.
there'd probably be more of that.
Mhm.
Like, yep, yep, yeah.
Would wear off. Yeah. Well, it was a great weekend.
So good.
Yep. And I'm really glad to have spent it with your family. Beautiful home,
Yes.
beautiful family, great food. Also a race.
Perfect.
Yep, perfect. All right. We will be back in a couple weeks. We're
Yeah,
gonna
we need to take a little bit of time.
Right, we're going to take a couple weeks off the main feed. If you want your Gomer fix, make sure you're subscribed to patreon.com/2gomers. Now's the time because we're going to be putting some stuff up. Next week is the end of the MCU. It's the MCU finale.
Oh, we haven't dropped that.
Nope,
yet.
that has not been dropped yet.
Crazy. So we talked through, Endgame.
Anthony has watched through Endgame, and so
Yep.
we talk about that. The following week is Interstellar on Perfect Movie.
Yep.
We have a couple more things that are just the people are gonna love. But we are gonna take a couple weeks off of the main feed. We'll be
Yeah.
back on the main feed with another block and also what's happening
Yeah.
in the future, so people will know that. But just expect that, nation. We need a little rest here after the race.
Yep.
If people want to reach out to us, you can always do that. The best way is to go to bit.ly/runnersblock. All of our socials are there. All of it's at 2gomers if you want to go and follow us anywhere on social media. Call us on the Gomer phone if you want to say to us something with your own voice. That number is
608-622-7669, dudes. That's 608 NBA Pony.
Apple Podcasts and Spotify is where you go. Make sure you're following us or subscribe to us in those places and leave us a rating and feedback while you're there. That always helps. If you're liking what you hear with these race and reviews and you want to know what are these Gomers and how can I get more involved and do I really like them, go back to September to November 2018. We have our 10th anniversary specials there. That's a good way to get the Gomer vibe. And then you can go all the way back to 2008 if you want. We've been doing this for a long time, over 300 episodes. Thanks to Davis for our music, Jason for our graphics, Adam for our website, Annie for our social media. Thank you one more time to our 200 Gomertrons. They are our monthly financial supporters. They also get bonus episodes on our second podcast called The Bonus Disc, Perfect Movie, and other bonus episodes every month. You can do that at different levels by going to patreon.com/2gomers.
Amazing, dude. Sign up for that if you haven't already. What we were looking at, there's like 118 episodes there.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's in addition to the over 300 that we have on the main feed. So there's Gomer material. There's Gomer content to be had.
Totally. Yep.
Including that episode that we listened to.
We
amazed.
listen to ourselves.
We listened several times to ourselves. We also had to re-listen to some stuff from the Night They Saved Christmas episode.
Yeah. Top app.
Yep. All right, dude. Great race.
Dude, super fun.
Yeah.
And remember, everybody, if we can do it, you can do it.
And happy running.